Guns are the second leading cause of death among children and teens in the U.S., and 1 in 3 homes with kids have guns. That's according to the National Asking Saves Kids, or ASK campaign, an offshoot of the Brady Campaign to prevent gun violence. Joining me from San Diego's Brady chapter is Ron Marcus, and ASK participant and mother Julie Hinton. Welcome. Now, Ron, let me ask you this: the goal of the ASK campaign, what is it?
Well, ASK campaign is 15 years old, celebrates 15 years anniversary this year. And the goal is very simple. If your children are going to play at a friend's house, simply ask, just like you would ask, is there a swimming pool? Is there supervised access to the internet? Is there any access to drug or alcohol there? You would ask, is there a gun in the house? Is it locked up? Is it loaded or not? Because every day, 9 children in this country are accidentally shot by finding a gun and either pointing it at themselves or at their friend while they're in the middle of a play date. And we're trying to prevent this. So over 100 deaths a year in this country, one sadly 2 years ago here in Scripps Ranch. And so we're just trying to prevent really a needless kind of tragedy here.
Now, I understand from the campaign data, 80% of unintentional firearm deaths, as you were talking about, 80% are in kids under age 15, and they occur inside the home. So why focus on inside the home? Why say ask parents about what's going on inside the home?
Well, as you just said, Peggy, most of these do happen either in their own home or in their friend's home, sadly, and that's where the access to the gun is. The gun is not properly stored. Interestingly, most parents think that they have safely stored their gun away where the kids don't know where they are. 3 out of 4 kids actually do know where the guns are and how to get them. And so once they find them, it's fun to play with them. Sometimes they don't realize that it's not a toy or that it wasn't loaded or it is loaded, and then an accident occurs, and it's purely an accident. And such a tragic accident, both for the family that may lose their child, but also for the child who accidentally pulls the trigger, because they have to live with that for the rest of their lives.
In Julia, you have a 5-year-old child, and you're also a 6th grade teacher here. How have you approached the subject of gun safety with other parents?
I think it really became part of our dialogue after the Sandy Hook tragedy, and really it was my job to reassure parents that the health and the safety and well-being of their children was our goal in the schools. I think for me, really at this point, it's being here today, it's spreading awareness on social media, and it's getting the message out. I think that it's an important conversation that parents should begin to have if their child is of the age to go to play dates on their own, or they're not called play dates when they get older, right?
Right, to visit their kids. Well, have you talked to, let's say, your son's friends' parents? Have you asked them point blank, do you have a gun in your house?
He's still so young that I accompany him on all his play dates, but it's certainly going to be a question that I will have no problem asking as he gets older.
Well, I know the issue of guns is a touchy subject here for a lot of people. How do you suggest responding to a parent, Ron, who says something like, it's none of your business if I have a gun in my house?
Well, I would say it is. I feel that I need to know if there's a gun in the house, because I would feel uncomfortable with as many incidences across the country that are occurring. I just don't want to expose my child to that level of risk, or your family. If your child is involved in an accidental shooting, or even there are laws in California and other states where the parent can be found at fault. The child that died in Scripps Ranch 2 years ago, that the father who owned the gun was sentenced to prison time. So
let me interrupt you there, because
Sure.
I want to know, what are the laws in California as far as regulating gun storage?
So 2 years ago, AB 231 was passed, and that makes it against the law, especially if kids are present, to not have your gun properly locked in a gun safe or otherwise secured so that a child could not get ready access to it. And you can go to jail. Now, you may not be comfortable talking about that if you're a parent and having that conversation. I sort of went off on a tangent, but the point is, I'd like to feel comfortable with my child being in your house, and the only way that I can feel comfortable is to know if the gun is stored. Now, the good news is...
And how should it be stored, just real briefly? So should it be locked? Can trigger locks work? Like, what's the best way?
The best way is in a gun safe, with the keys well out of reach of the children. But most parents that get asked the question, is there a gun in the house, react very favorably to that question. We were afraid of the conversation, but it really, the fear, you don't have to be afraid.
All right. Unfortunately, we're out of time. So Sunday is the Ask campaign. Ask the question about guns in your friends' children's homes. The San Diego Police Department is also giving away free trigger locks at Police Command Center. So I want to say a big thank you to Ron Marcus and Julia Hinton. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.